Good afternoon, flosstube. This is Gem Stitch here for my May-June flosstube cross stitch update. Sorry it's a bit later for me. I mean, I'm still within the month of June, but normally I post mid-month. But work's been busy. I've been doing a lot more overtime, and I was up late last night because of the referendum. For those of you that are not in the UK or in the EU, because you'd know about it, the UK voted on whether to leave the EU, or had a referendum yesterday to vote whether to stay in or whether to leave the EU, and the vote has said that we are to leave the EU, and obviously that is not, although that included the United Kingdom, Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England, we wasn't necessarily all united on votes, so that's going to have ramifications, as well as the ramifications of leaving the EU itself. However, I'm not going into politics massively, but I will just state that we are a democracy and I believe in the democratic way that a country should be governed, and therefore, rightly or wrongly, we have to respect each other's votes. There is no right or wrong in either side, just people's different opinions, and as long as people remember that, then, you know, it will be a lot smoother journey. But yes, it's unprecedented, so it's been playing out all day, and I will think it will continue to do that for weeks and years potentially to come, because like I said, it's unprecedented. No one's left the EU before, so we don't really know what's going to happen, but still. Anyway, so politics over, but that will, I'm hoping, will excuse my looking rather couldn't hide it, tired eyes, and probably having to think or look like the cogs are really turning extra hard to remember certain things. So anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity. I know I always try to remember at the end, but just in case, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all my subscribers, to thank all the people that comment, and for any new subscribers for watching. I'm pleased that you enjoyed the videos. So firstly, in May I didn't have one focus piece because May is Stitch Mania, so I didn't participate in Stitch Mania, and so I chose to do either pieces that I knew I wouldn't be working on for whatever reason in the year, or pieces that were close to a finish, and actually both pieces that I chose I did finish, but I'd already showed you that in my last video, so there's no point me showing you them again. There was, I have a work in progress that is on a deadline. I'd like it done by Christmas because I want to give it as a Christmas gift, so that's finished and framed. And so therefore for the rest of May, my plan was to finish that letter for that month, and obviously for the letter for June as well. So it's what I call my Bethany Sampler. It's actually the ABC Patissier, but all the details of the information will be in the information box, wherever that is. It's normally below, but you know. So here's a picture of where it was last time you saw it. And here's a picture, see what I mean? Here's where I am now. So you've got the A I managed to completely finish and backstitch, and the N, because this is a later update, obviously managed to finish the N for June as well. So that just leaves me with the Y, which you can see here. I always do at least one thread, yeah, one length of thread to the next one, so that when I pick it up in July I know exactly where I'm starting. So this is the whole piece. So yeah, I'm pleased with how that's going. I'm pleased with the time scale. It gives me, sorry, leaning in, it gives me a bit of time to look for a frame, because I haven't decided yet whether whether the frame that I'm going to choose is going to have a mat, or so I may just leave her name as Bethany. I was going to add her birth details, weight and date of birth and that sort of thing, but if it's going to make it look odd within the frame, so I think the best thing to do is finish the Y, look for a frame, see how I feel, whether I want to add the details or just leave it as Bethany, whatever's going to look better and aesthetically pleasing. So this is the pattern that I was using. Obviously it's a whole ABC, and I charted out the name that I wanted to use, and this is the Y, so this is what I'll be the last letter that I'll be focusing on for July. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that pattern. As you know, I think this company is lovely, so, and I like a lot of their stitches, and I'm hoping to you know, do more in the future. So that took us into obviously the A for the end, to the end of May, and then the N was for June. I also had another focus piece for June. June is Stitch Mania's Wine and Whips Stitch Along. I chose to use a project, a UFO, an unfinished object that I hadn't stitched on for 2 years, or roughly 2 years. So that would be Lavender and Lace, the Bride. Now this was the first, sorry Claire, this was the first project that I actually managed to kit up myself. I was still an Ada stitcher then, so it was actually started on Ada, which was one of the reasons that I put it down, because when I did eventually move on to even weave, I didn't really look back, but I still want to finish her, as I discussed in my last video. So here's a picture of where she was from 2 years ago, but there you go, here's a picture. And here's where she is now. So I've managed to get sort of, it was roughly here, so I've worked my way across and down a bit, and obviously down here as well. I actually managed to leave myself quite a confetti heavy bit. So I mean, especially over here as well, you're looking at, although it doesn't look like it, every 5 stitches or so you're changing thread, which, as you know, is more time consuming and it takes longer to do. So, but I'm just pleased I've worked on her. Ideally, I mean, I've got until just under a week, so because of the way the dates fall, I've got until Thursday to, she will, if I pick up stitching, well, I will today, the end of today as well, but obviously with work and everything as well, she will be my focus piece till Thursday. So I'll continue to stitch on her and try and get as much done as I can, because if I knock out a lot of this confetti heavy bit, the bottom bit of her dress, although that's a lot of stitching, excuse my nails, although that's a lot of stitching, it's actually a lot more of large amounts of colour, blocks of colour, which obviously makes it a lot quicker. It does for me, because you're not having to change the thread so much. So but yeah, I'm pleased that I've worked on her again. I'm not sure I'd put her back into my normal works in progress sort of rotation, although I know what I'm going to be doing right up until January next year. each month and what focus pieces are going to be for each month. I don't know whether she would be included, say if a bride piece or something come up in, because I follow the sales on Stitch Mania, whether she would be included in that or whether she would only be a wine and whip. But I've enjoyed working on her, and at least even if it takes me another 2 years, once a month, 1 month's progress each year, she's going to get worked on and eventually she'll get finished. So yeah, so that's my progress on Lavender and Lace. And I believe, because I didn't really take much notice and too much detail, I know she's 16 count and I believe it's Rustico Ada. It could be oatmeal, but I think it's Rustico because it's got like the little, bits woven in as well. So, but don't quote me on it. I haven't got the invoice or anything from years ago, so I'm not 100% sure. It wasn't the recommended fabric that was to go with it, so I chose it. So I'm not sure what it was. But yeah, so that's my progress on the bride. Which leads me into next month, July's work in progress. Obviously, I'll be endeavouring to finish the letter Y for the Bethany Sampler, but for my main focus piece, the theme is It's a Sunshine Day. So I have a work in progress, as they always take precedent, but I have a work in progress. It's my largest work in progress, which is Creation by Tempting Tangles, and it's got a big sun. Now, obviously, I'm not actually anywhere close to working on the sun. I'm actually up here working on the storm. But because this is my largest piece, it does contain a lot of speciality stitches as well, which, you know, some of them I've not done before, which always slows you down, or and this is particularly confetti heavy, this part. Yeah, I'm choosing to do this piece, so this will be my focus piece for the month. And here's where I'm at. So, as you can see, I am back onto confetti. That's unfortunate, isn't it? But never mind. I'm back onto the confetti, so I'll be continuing to work on the storm, and obviously any work that I get done working into the storm as such is progress. So I do really love this piece. I think it's beautiful. I love the design. I think the way it's a sampler pattern, but just so artistic. I love it, which is probably why I've persevered with it as well, because sometimes it's been challenging. But yeah, so this is mainly all cross stitch. It's just confetti, but because there's gaps, unlike a sort of full coverage Haid, although it's close, I can't run thread behind because you would see. So sometimes it is literally like a little pin stitch, one stitch, and then you have to cast it off, and then not cast, you know what I mean, change thread, and so it can be a little frustrating. But this is actually all in DMC as well, which just shows you sort of the amount of colour changes that it requires to get the depth of colour. But that's part of why I really like it. So, you know, it's the price you pay. But yeah, so that's where I'm on. That's where I'm at now. All this swirly bits. So yeah, I mean, if I can continue to sort of work into that, I do plan on having it again come up as this year as a focus piece for a month. So, you know, as a sort of end goal, it would be really nice to have, you know, this page, because I've got 1, 2, 3, to have page 3 done by the end of those 2 months, when it will be a focus piece. So this month, and then when it comes up again, I believe it's September, I'm planning on it coming up again, and to have it finished by the end of, is it September? No, I think it's October actually. Plan on having it sort of finished by, that piece is finished by October, so it'll be a good a good sort of goal to aim towards for the next year, when it will come up again, once I know what the themes are for the sales next year. So just to recap, that is on 35, I believe, could be 36. I believe this is 35 count linen. It is a cream Edinburgh linen. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's 2 over 2. I'm stitching it 2 over 2. So, got a needle up there. Could have stabbed myself. But yeah, so I'm pleased with where I'm at. I'm pleased with how it looks, but it is a slow process. So that is the end really. Sorry, it's quite short for me, isn't it? So that's what I've been doing, and that's my plans for next month. Thank you to all my subscribers, and thank you for commenting. I really do appreciate it. I do try and respond. And thank you to all the people that make flosstube videos. It's really great I really do enjoy chilling out watching your videos. I don't always comment, but I do try, because I do it while I'm stitching, so you know. But yeah, I always like your videos. So thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next month. Happy stitching.